I have a question. You hear me?
Yes.
Hi. It's my first practice with you and with all those yoga approach. Yesterday, I don't know if it's a technical question, but yesterday I somehow realized how I was, instead of serving my body, I used to serve, make it serve for me until now, as a, object of pride or pleasure or whatever. Although I have been following Rupert's sparse, teachings, so I'm not new in non-dual approach, but your approach is new to me. And I started very much crying, not pitiful to myself, but thanking life that I could see it this way. And then I somehow feel how I can get organic relationship with not only feelings, but also, sounds and, the world experiencing. And it creates somehow a little fear in me, because I would, it's I'm not used to that kind of relationship with the world. And I feel that it is the way I need to explore. And this is the way to freedom of the sense of separation or the feeling of being the body. So I would like, your impressions on that, on how to handle that, do it slowly, or, is there any, meditations that are, more suitable for that?
No, meditation is not something you do. It's what
yeah,
you
of
are.
course, I'm sure. Yeah,
let's do that. But
explorations, I meant.
Don't see this kind of. Don't come to this fantasy of opening up to the surrounding, because it's a fantasy, because there's no surrounding, because there's not something steady as yourself. The idea of the surrounding comes because of the idea of myself. So it's more just stop pretending being oneself, which will remove the idea of surrounding, and then there's no more relation, because oneness is without any relation. So be careful not to indulge in this fantasy of the neo-tantric approach, or like opening. There's nothing to open. There is to see that what you believe to be is a concept, is a thought. So the yoga should be more gentle. It's not a tool in order to open up or to any non-dual fantasy, but it's just actually just living with the fact. So you just stop going away with the fact, and going away with the fact means thinking. So when something do not apply to your level of integration conceptually, you begin to think about it. Like if the pain is too strong, or if the pleasure is too strong, or if something do not refer to the pattern of the world you have created to survive, then the thinking comes. Thinking will mean to justify, to criticize, and so on. So becoming deeply sensitive to this fact, to the point that the emotion, the sensation can unravel without any commentary. So it is important you don't strive to this fantasy of opening up, because opening up is actually separation, because there'll always be you opening up to the world, and it's a very sweet fantasy, but there's no such a thing. So don't open up, just feel what comes to you, and very often you'll see that most of the emotion we encounter don't come from what we could call reality, from fact, but it come from thinking. When you think that, but actually the fact is much more simple. So yoga is for simple people, it's not for intellectual It's too complex for them. For us, we are very simple-minded, so we don't actually think. We give ourselves to the fact of life, and the fact of life is the body. So forget this very sweet idea, I'm not the body. It's very sweet, but it's totally irrelevant. Next time somebody said, I'm not the body, shoot him in the knees and see what his experience, you'll be surprised. So you are the body. There's nothing else on the body. What you call the world is the body activity. What you call the mountain is the activity of your eyes. What you call the sound of the bird is the activity of the hearing system. What you call the taste of the wine is the activity of your gustative system. So stop pretending you are not the body. Take some LSD and you will see if you're not the body. You're only the body, but not the body you think. Because the body you think is a concept which was born in a very youth age. And then when we said, this is my body, when I feel my body, actually we're just actualizing this pattern which we have created to assert ourselves and to defend ourselves. That's why most people feel the body heavy and dance and so on. This is not their body. It is their the cover-up of the body. So you are the body, there's nothing else in the body, but the body is a kind of cosmic body and not a reduced body made out of fear, desire, anxiety, and so on and so on. So I am not the body, it's a Vedantic way. That's we live for people like Ramana Maharshi. But if you're not Ramana Maharshi, I am not the body, will lead you nowhere. In the tantric path, nothing else of what appears can be apart from consciousness. So your body is consciousness. Your body is not an object. As you notice, you said you notice that is beautiful, and yes, your body is not a way to assert yourself, and your body is not a way to defend yourself. Your body is unknown. So become attuned with this unknownness and just see what is there without thinking it. And then you will see that very fast when, let's say, somebody said, feel your knees, you're going to see that you're thinking of the knees. If I said, feel your shoulder, you immediately going to have an image of the shoulder. This is not what you talk. This is thinking the body, but not feeling the body. When you feel the body, you hear, feel the shoulder, you don't know where it is. Shoulder is not somewhere. Shoulder is here, in the awareness. So I don't go toward my shoulder because I don't pretend to be somewhere else. So in this passivity, the body will slowly come back to his home ground as not being different than consciousness. But the idea, I'm not the body, it's beautiful. When Ramana Maharshi experienced it, it was perfection. But if you're not Ramana Maharshi, very often it remains a kind of conceptual idea. Must be experience. When many years ago, Klein was living with me in London, in my apartment, and he had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency operation of the woman with the prostate. And so they done this operation in the afternoon. And then when he came back from the surgery, the doctor gave him some medicine, and he looked, I was there. Then he looked at the medicine and he saw there was some feminine hormones. And he said, there's no way I'm going to take that. I want to be able to look at the woman from a man's point of view. I will not take that. And so the doctor said, and then Jean said, I want to leave the hospital, let go. And the surgeon said, nobody can bear the pain he's going to have this evening if he doesn't take this painkiller. So please take the painkiller, but we're giving a bed for him because you will come back tonight. So I take Jean to my place in London, and Jean lie on the side, on the seat, of course. And then he was totally white. And then he was describing me the movement of the pain in his body. He said the pain was extending here and the pain was coming there. And he was very, very intense. His face was totally white. And then the phone rang. And then I went to pick up, he said, it's for me. So I gave him the phone and it was for him. It was an old English lady who lost a cat. And so I guess the woman asked, how are you? And he said, very well. And then for 10 minutes, she was very sad, of course, she was English, maybe even more British, losing the cat. And so for 10 minutes, he gave her advice how to find the cat again. Then he put down the phone, and then he continued the description of the pain in the body. So yes, for him, he was free from the body. But for somebody normal, I would say, it's really conceptual. And I have to see it, when somebody says that, I have to see him in the ultimate pain to be sure he's not only thinking that. So most of us are very simple, we don't have this kind of capacity. The Tantra is really for limited-minded people, that's why we follow that path. So in Tantra, everything cannot, anything which appears cannot be different in consciousness. So instead of not being the body, we are only the body, but not the body we think. So you must deepen, in a certain way, your knowledge of this so-called body, and it's deepening by experience, this knowledge. The word body is going to go away because it means nothing. The word my is going to go away because it means nothing. And anything you may have thought about the body will go away too. That's called yoga. Yoga is the art of removing from the mind the limited conceptual body. But that is done only if you can dive in this exploration. So don't stay in this suction feeling of the Vedantic point of view that I am not the body, because it is totally right ultimately. But if it doesn't belong to somebody who lives this openness, it's very conceptual. So we are the body, but let's inquire what kind of body it is. Is the body of fear, the body of desire, the body of anxiety, the body of agitation, and so on and so on. So we're going to challenge all this kind of body. So it's more the compassion, the love, the sensitivity, the disponibility, receptivity to this feeling, body feeling, which slowly is going to remove the concept body. And only the concept has to be challenged. The fact is actually consciousness. The concept is not.
Of course. Thank you. Very helpful.